Hello, Gamel. Welcome. How are you?
Oh, fine, thank you. How you doing, Perchin?
I'm also fine. Thank you very much. It's good to see you. So,
Great to have you too. It's an honor, actually, and thank you.
thank you. So today's topic is about productivity, and as a productive person, I also wanted to talk to you and get your ideas and opinion a bit. And in this topic, before we start into this topic, I just would like to ask you to introduce yourself shortly. Like, what is your name? Where are you from? What are you doing right now? And then we can start with our topic, if you don't mind.
All right, perfect. That's great. So, just a quick introduction about myself. I am Gamel Issaku. I'm from Ghana. I'm currently living in Turkey. I just did my undergraduate here in Turkey, in one of the most beautiful cities in that is Gaziantep. I am done with my undergraduate and I'm actually working on my master's. I do some kind of motivational speeches and I head some kind of groups. So quite a busy life. So I think productivity means a lot to me. So thank you so much for bringing me up on such a topic.
Thank you as well. You're not only a productive person, but you're also a proactive person. Thanks to you, we managed to meet through LinkedIn. And from then on, I started following you. And you're a very impressive person as well. You're in a different country, in a different culture, but you are trying to adapt as much as possible. From what I know, you also speak Turkish fluently, and you're studying, you're working, you're doing speeches, you're managing your
Yeah,
social media at the same time. So you're very versatile in a lot of different ways. So
thank you.
first of all, I would like to show my appreciation into this. And that's why, obviously, I wanted to speak to you because I think you're a very good example. So, my first question to you,
Thank
Gamel,
you so much.
what does being
Mhm.
productive mean for you?
That's a great question. Productivity actually just means a measure of efficiency, of how efficient you are with your time and with the efforts that you have. So someone will say that we have measurement and time for everything. So if a particular work can be done within an hour and you are able to do it within an hour, we can say you are productive. So if there is no measure, we cannot actually say we are productive. And one thing that I would say that productivity is not is that productivity has been confused with being busy. So a lot of people in our society, when they see someone is busy, catching up with deadlines, running from here and there, they call them productive. But I think productivity is simply a measure of efficiency, of how much time and effort you're able to put in to get the results that you want. So in short, this is what I call productivity.
I think the comparison you made is very good because a lot of people are busy, but this does not necessarily mean that they're all productive. The amount of hours you work, if it's a lot, it does not necessarily mean you're productive. So I guess from what I see as well, from what I experience, it is more about how you manage your time, how you discipline yourself, how you build teams, how you delegate, how you automate, right? And I think you're a productive person.
Definitely.
What about you? Do you consider yourself a productive person? And in yes, in what ways do you consider yourself productive, Kamal?
Yeah, I would consider myself to be productive in the sense of how I'm able to carry along with my daily activities. And being productive is able to give me a lot of extra time to do the things that I really love. So the main concept of being productive is that I can gain myself some time. So a job which is supposed to use an hour, I try to chunk it down by using systems and approaches that I can have extra time for myself. I play the drums, I play the piano. I'm leading the African Students Association in Gaziantep. And at the same time, I was working full time and I was trying to finish my school. And the good news is I was able to graduate in 3 years. Like undergraduate was meant to be four, I did it in three. So I think I am very productive. In that sense, I say this without any doubt because if I'm able to carry out all these things together, it tells me a lot about myself. I am productive. Yeah.
Definitely, very good point. And I also think you touched another good point because when I look at productive people, I also see that they manage to spend time for their hobbies, for their leisure times, for themselves, for their health. So being productive doesn't only mean doing work, work,
Yeah.
work, but also taking care of oneself. Because what I
Yeah.
experience and what I see if you do not take care of yourself, it's impossible to take care of your other responsibilities as well. So we also have to put ourselves in the center, not in a selfish way, but in a way that we make sure that we take care of ourselves. And from your story, I also see that you do this. You play drums, you have your hobbies, you hang out with your friends, you learn languages. So I wanted to ask you, do you agree with what I
Yeah.
say on this matter?
Definitely, definitely. It's very true. And hearing this from you actually makes much more sense to me because I think society and quite a lot of people have mistaken the aspect of productivity, of being so busy. And when they see productive people, they think that being productive means you forsake all your family, relationships, and everything for just working and being a workaholic. I work a lot. I outwork a lot of people in my journey, but it is one thing which is very important, that is the relationships, the time you spend for yourself, for your health, for family, for friends. I mean, the right society. I mean, so it's very important. And I also see you do that. Like traveling is one thing that I'm thinking of so much. And I think you are a big example for me when it comes to that, actually. Yeah.
Another good point you made. Thank you. I'm honored, and it's the same for me to you. I think you're a very good example for me as well. For me, one of the best ways to understand myself and become more productive is to have people around me that are productive. So when I have these friends like you, even with people that I don't meet face to face, like you, we met, but I feel close to you, like with these people that are on a high frequency level, when I hang out with them, when I talk with them, when I brainstorm with them, I understand this level of productivity, and I maintain that level of productivity much easier because I'm with these people with a very high frequency. So
That's great.
role models in that sense is very important.
Perfect. That's super great. That's super great, actually. Yeah. It's a pleasure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
likewise, bro. Likewise, bro. All right. And one final question that I want to ask you. I don't want to take too much of your time because this topic we can speak for hours, but I just wanted to touch some basic points. If somebody would come
Okay.
to you for coaching or just for a suggestion and say, Gamel, I'm a student or I'm working and I feel that I cannot reach my potential as much as I need to, and I feel I'm not having a productive life. Obviously, what you would say would depend from person to person, but what would be some basic suggestions that you would give to such a person?
Great. The number one thing that I would say, which is a very practice that I do myself, is to create a basic plan. Just make a plan. And it shouldn't sound so generic. I'm going to break it down. That is, even a night before you sleep, before the next day, just write for yourself what you really want to achieve the next day. It could be very simple as saying, when I wake up in the morning, I just want to read like just a page of this. And when I'm done, I want to have this. I mean, making a plan is not supposed to be so rigid that you are out of balance, but making a plan actually gives you this amount of responsibility, and you keep yourself in track because you know you have something to do. People have a lot of time to waste because they are not making plan. And when it comes to making a plan, actually, what it leads you to is it gives you responsibility because you are able to cross check, what did I do? What did I write that I wanted to achieve? And what do I have here? So at the end of the day, if you compare and you realize that I planned to do this and I could not do this, this becomes a way of measuring. And then you're going to be disappointed at yourself. If you realize that you spent about 4 hours in a day on social media, like it's going to freak you out actually, because you made a plan and you realize this. But people do not realize that they are not being productive. And that's why they don't see it even as a problem. People don't know that they are not productive. But if you're able to match up with yourself, so a typical example is, let's say an undergraduate degree is 4 years. Now, if you're not able to finish it in 4 and you do it in 5, we can say, hey, man, there is a problem because there is a unit of measurement, which is 4, and you did it in 5, you can measure, oh, it didn't work. I know you are an English tutor and you know, like for a particular class or like for a particular section, someone has to finish this curriculum in A1, but someone has taken this course like 3 times and he's saying, I think on the third time I'll do better. No, that is like some kind of a failure. Like we have to hit it on the point. So the first one is making a basic plan, having a plan that will track you is very important. And the second most important thing that I also say is there is one thing about practicing things in chunk. That is, things which are similar, tasks which are almost the same. You do them at the same time. So you are not being distorted. Like when you pick up a book that I'm reading, it will be better if you can put your phone aside so you can focus on that. People talk about multitasking, and that thing can be very dangerous. I've seen you made a video on that. Like people are, yeah, I'm touching my phone, I'm reading this, and I'm able to do this. No, no, because you have to reset your mind once again. And it generally is taking the time of many people. It could be better if you could just focus for just even 15 minutes to read a book. Then you finish and you do the next task. So the second one is practicing in chunking. Just give yourself a time for something. And then the last one, or the third actually, is you have to schedule a time and set deadlines. There is this scientific proven something about if someone has an assignment and he knows that he or she knows he has 1 week, he can be sleeping, he doesn't really care. But when there is 1 day to the ending of our assignment, the person can actually finish this assignment within just a night before the assignment. So it's a mindset. We have that mindset of when you feel like you are close to a deadline. So how good will it be if we can actually give ourselves deadlines? That I say, I'll try to finish this assignment by 9 p.m. If you make it a habit, you can be able to do this. So we have to schedule time for ourselves. Let's put ourselves in time ranges and also set deadlines. And the last one, and very important, is let it go. And someone will say, okay, what's that? Let it go. I mean, give yourself a chance to actually also fall and fail. Give yourself a chance to relax, because sometimes most people who are very productive, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. I have to finish this. I have to do this. And by so doing, we forget the most important thing, that maybe just a simple break or just a simple cup of tea can actually change the whole game. So it's important that sometimes you just let go, listen to your body, listen to how you are reacting towards situations. And if you feel like you need a rest, give yourself a rest. And if you failed, don't put the blame on you. Don't put pressure on yourself, so you can move faster and actually be able to catch up with better things that lies ahead. So this would have been my 4 tips for someone who needed advice on being productive.
Fantastic. Then before we wrap up, let's summarize these 4 tips from the last one.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself.
So let
it go. And
let it go. We have schedule your time and have deadlines. And the second one was practicing in chunking. Just focus on one task at a time. Forget the idea of multitasking and just be focused. Yeah, do the things that are having similar duties at a time. Then the last one is actually creating a basic plan for yourself. Create a basic plan that I want to do this. It could be a night before the day next, and just make a plan. That's it.
Fantastic. And I also like the fact when you said that it all starts with being aware. That's very important as well. Thank you very much, brother. It's great to hear
Thank
from
you so much, person.
to interview you. This has been a very fruitful interview. Is there anything else you would like to add before we thank you and say goodbye, Gamel?
It is very great. I will say thank you so much. And actually, one last thing which is very important to talk about productivity is also the kind of people you surround yourself with. It is super important. And I must say this. And while I say this, I'd like to thank you as well, because maybe I don't know what I will be doing by now. I may be thinking I'm so busy, I'm doing this, but as soon as you just requested, you asked, I wanted to be in this challenge. I wanted to do something. And it means the friends, the kind of people we have, people like you actually are able to push us to something. I've been thinking, I don't want to do interviews because I'm not ready. The lighting is not good. I'm not, all these excuses. But when you have the right people, like you have the right people who are willing to change the world and make a difference, like they are able to push you, they're able to support you. So it's a great honor, actually, and I really appreciate your work. That's all I would like to say.
Likewise, brother. Thank you very much. I also think
Yeah.
correct friends with the right frequency is fundamental. So thank you very much, Mal. I hope to see you in another interview.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for taking your time. I'm sure the viewers will appreciate it. Take care, brother. Bye-bye.
That's great. Thank you. Bye.